What's up guys, welcome back. So we have a lot to cover in this video because a lot is going on in the digital pinball universe here. Not only is there another announcement of the new Williams tables from Zen Studio, I think on July 31st, we've already heard that Pinbot is going to be one of those Williams tables, which should be fun since we already have Bride of Pinbot. Makes you think, if we already have Bride of Pinbot and Pinbot, will we see a Jackbot to complete the trio? Because as you know, there's a trio already in Pinball Effects, right? Actually, there's not. There's only... I was thinking that it would be nice to have the trio of Cyclone added as well, and maybe Comet to complete that trio. But also tomorrow, July 25th, the Infected Mushroom Pinball table releases on Steam. So that should be interesting to see what that's all about. And as you know, if you already saw, there's a recent Zaccaria Deluxe, Granada Deluxe, which I just uploaded a video for. So there's a lot of pinball to play, a lot of things to look forward to. But today we're going to talk about the one ball challenge we had on Adventureland. And then as we continue our quest with the Zen Originals, we're going to play Biolab next. So Biolab is another Zen Original that I think is kind of a fun table. A little different from what we've been doing. And it's pretty zany to say the least. And it should be interesting on a one ball. But now let's talk about... let's talk a little bit about this Adventureland table. But before I go into it, I want to kind of preface this video and kind of mention things about, talk about the history of carnivals and circuses in popular culture. So, the modern circus goes back to all the way to 1768. And it was coined after Philip Astley, who is considered to be the father of the modern circus. And I put in parentheses, how cool must that be to be called like the father of the circus? I mean, you have the father of medicine, the father of law, of philosophy, but to be like the father of the circus? Also, circuses originally began as... with a ring to perform horse tricks. So they started out relatively small, horse tricks, and the standard horse ring is 42 feet wide. And apparently that's like the perfect width for like horses to gallop and, jump over different obstacles with their trainers. I find that pretty interesting. But also as circuses kind of branched out and became these wider attractions, you had people like the Ringling Brothers who traveled by train and transported animals, performers, equipment across the country. And so circuses were like the main attraction for the longest time. You got to think, this is before media and television. And so the way that people kind of got entertainment was from these things, these performances. And you had also the invention of the three-ring circus, which was largely an American invention from Barnum and Bailey, a name you might have heard before. And so these three-ring circuses, instead of just having like one center performance, you'd have like two more, and you'd have more on the side, and so the point was to kind of keep people entertained with different things, and so you'd have like trapeze artists, jugglers, instead of just animals, and I bring up circuses and carnivals are kind of similar, but circuses are more like these huge shows and that involve like animals and huge contraptions, whereas carnivals were more like these outdoor events that had a lot of concession stands, a lot of games, lopsided games where they were kind of rigged in a way. You've probably played some if you've been to a circus. I mean, yeah, a carnival, I should say. And sometimes they had shows. Sometimes they had side shows. Think of Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons, right? They had a lot. They had clowns, but they're very kind of interchangeable. You know, circuses and carnivals are kind of like almost, very similar. Because in carnivals, you didn't really have these main attractions or main events. You had more like Ferris wheels, different kind of rides, roller coasters. Think Old Coney Island, which is also a pinball table. So I mentioned all this to kind of go into our modern day amusement parks, right? Like, I don't go to a lot of amusement parks myself, but when you kind of think about what the structure of a modern day amusement park is, you have a lot of things. Some have water parks, some have like parts where like I think there's even like zoos and animals. A lot of them have like mini arcades, mini rides. Some have big rides, large roller coasters, different kind of attractions, 3D movie theaters. So it's kind of paralleled all into this, what we think of as the modern day amusement park. So when I played this table, that's the first thing I thought about, was kind of how this table pretty much is a representation of, a circus, an amusement park, a carnival, all in one, all encompassing, right? And when you think about early themes of pinball tables, a lot of the EM machines and the woodrails, a lot of pinball tables and EM machines were themed after carnivals, because for a long time that was the only way, or was one of the major ways that people got their entertainment, right? You couldn't, there was no phone games, there was no TV, there was baseball. I think baseball was popular, sports, anything outdoor kind of, and that's why the themes of early pinball tables are kind of general. Whereas you think about pinball modern tables today, they're very specific, licensed IPs, right? You won't see Stern making a pinball table that's a general table about a carnival, unless the carnival is based off a movie like The Killer Clowns, right? Which is, an IP, specific IP. But that's basically what you had when you think about these kind of themes and how pinball started in the very beginning. So let's now talk about some very popular circus / carnival themed tables. So you got Circus Voltaire from Williams, from John Popadiuk, which we've played before. You have Circus from Bali from 1973 by Jim Patla. You've got circus tables from Zaccaria Pinball, another manufacturer from Italy. Jolly Park from Spinball, released in 1996. You had the trio I was talking about at the beginning: Comet from 1985, Cyclone from 88, Hurricane, which we played before, Pinball Effects from 1991 from Barry Orsler. You have a table from Gottlieb called Ready, Aim, Fire from 1983, which is a fun one, which is kind of based on like a circus game, right? A carnival game, one of those mini games where you have to like shoot the targets. You have Coney Island Pinball from Game Plan, released in 1979. Even Roller Coaster Tycoon from Pat Lawler, released by Stern in 2002. And there's plenty more that I'm probably missing, but I just wanted to mention some to kind of give you an idea. Circuses and carnivals have always been a popular theme, not only in pinball, but movies. There's been a lot of, I think, popular movies based on carnivals and entertainment. They're just very an iconic kind of thing. There's a movie called The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus from 2009, Dumbo. You had The Greatest Show on Earth from 1952, Circus World. You have even like fantasy movies, Coraline, The Funhouse, Carnival of Souls, which I think some people have talked to me about, Big Fish. So you can see that carnivals and circus are not only inherent in pinball, but they kind of spread across a lot of cultures. Games, wrestling. Wasn't there a wrestler that was called the Clown or something? Horror, So it goes so much deeper than that. But now let's kind of talk about some of the cool mechanics on Adventureland. So Adventureland is a table that has so much going on. It took me a while to figure out the skill shot. Like I was like wondering, what am I supposed to do? But the skill shot is actually very cool because it's like it also has involves two steps. First, you have to hit the sinkhole, the eject hole, and then after you get into the eject hole, you have to aim it right from that cannon. And so that was a really cool skill shot. It was timed because the drop targets would block from entering the eject hole. And when I was playing this table, it made me think of how digital pinball, in a lot of ways, almost, I don't want to use the word I guess I use the word what's the word? I'm trying to look for the best word. Kind of outdoes real pinball in that it's able to add all these extra animations and effects. And I know that not everyone likes those effects or animations all the time because they're distracting, and some of them are, like the pantomime. But you have the fireball. You have these two hands that come out from the slingshots to save the ball from draining in the out lane. You've got these cool loops that represent roller coasters that you can't really do on a real table because I'm pretty sure the ball would probably drop unless there's a magnet or something, right? And so you just have a lot more things that you can do, and that's what I found out with this table. I think the strategy was, I can't believe I got in second place, right? I got in second, yeah. Because I was sitting underneath 10 million, but I just started doing multi-ball. I think it was the Sky Eye where you would, you lock 3 or 5 balls for multi-ball and you'd get $1 million per shot. There was the Icarus thing that kind of gave a lot of points. There was, games where you had to blow up balloons. So a lot of different kind of themes around carnivals that this table did pretty well at. And also with looks. I think this is just a great table, solid theme-wise table. But that's pretty much what I have to say. Probably you could say more. Maybe Gatvic wants to say more about, how he got his score, which is really good. But I'm just going to go over the scores now. We had a great turnout here, around 38 people. Gatvic comes in first with 50 million. Congratulations to you, Gatvic. Gatvic is usually in the top 10. But it's always cool to see him in first because he's a good pinball player, not just with Williams tables, which is, I think, where we first met Gatvic when he got introduced to our channel, but now he's a regular, and he's showing that, being good at Williams tables also means that you can be really good at normal Zen Originals. So congratulations to you, Gatvic, with 50 million. I came in second with 34 million. We have a third place Quick Strike that came really close to my score of 33 million. So look how close these score. Even UTD in fourth with 30 million. And I'm kind of surprised, but usually Bouchy beats me in these tables, and he only came 22 million. Still a great score, though. Keep in mind, this table is not easy. It takes a little while to figure out. So Bouchy came in fifth. We have sixth place Carpy Sun with 17 million. Going down the list, Bad Jack Daniels, another regular, in 11th with 6 million points. 12th place, Johnny Sev with 5 million. Shout out to Johnny because Johnny corrected me on my ID. I got confused with the I and the L because sometimes the I looks like a capital L and it gets all confusing. So thank you, Johnny, for that correction. Going down the list here, looking for names I know. Genuines in 26 with 1,473,000 points. Welcome back, Genuines. Another regular in our tournaments. The Vonicles in 29th. And that's pretty much everyone. So if I missed your name, my apologies. Just let me know. But I always like to give shout outs to people who are regulars in the tournaments. So now let's go with our next table for this week, which is going to be on Biolab. It's going to be a private tournament, 1-ball challenge, limited to 10 attempts, 6 days. 6 days, 10 attempts, 1-ball private. So today's date, okay, balance sheet. It's the 24th, right? So it's 7/24/25. 7/24/25, right? Here we go. I'll give it one attempt here. Here's the ID, which will be in the description. So a password again is 7/24/25. I'll give it one go. Hopefully it's a good one. This table is pretty crazy. Like, just like, look at this. Like, what is this? Oh, did I get a skill shot? See, that's luck. And then you have these rotating targets. Insane flipper setup.
Splendid. Chamber pressure is on the rise.
Oh, I like the electricity, like from the bumpers. That's cool. Oh no. Oh my gosh.
New head structure invented.
What is that? Muscle. We like muscle, right?
Its muscles are starting to react.
Get the gains. Okay, what am I doing here? Okay. So hit anything lit, I guess? And he powers up. Oh no! What is that?
Don't lose that.
Okay, I don't know about this score, but I'm gonna have to practice this one. Well, guys, thank you for watching. I also want to say that I hope you guys are enjoying the VPX uploads. I'm gonna try to be more consistent with those. I know I've been uploading a little more than usual, but yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with it. So, till next time, I'll catch you guys there. Take care.